per the RPD Act 2016. These are the three main members or the committee members. So how it works, we are receiving the application through online, either through the organization or the parents can apply through National Trust website, and then the LLC NGO receiving the application, and we will do the home visit and check whether the information provided by the parents or the guardian is reliable, or it's whether the application is we scrutinize the application, and we will give the home visit report. Along with that, we again resubmit to the same portal, and then it goes to the district collector, and mostly district differently abled welfare officer who receiving the application, and of course they're checking along with the district collector, and if they are accepting, they call for a meeting. They come along with the guardian or the parents, and then finally, based on the meeting, they are approving the application. Normally, this is for the people with developmental disability, for the autism, cerebral palsy, intellectual disability, and multiple disability. These are the four category or the people who need to apply for the guardianship, and it's mainly for the above 18 years old. Sometimes if the child is orphan or abandoned, or if the child is lost the parents, they can apply for the below 18 years. That's the brief about the LLC. So currently, luckily, we have a chances for all the district having the LLC committee. But the problem is when we go to the district, for the organizing the committee meeting, it's a big challenges because of course we understand district collector is so busy, but it's very little difficult to get the importance to the disability field. Personally, as a LLC NGO, I feel it is challenges to access the district chamber, collector chamber, and explain about the LLC. So, if possible, if we could include the disability or the national trust subject in the monthly review of the district collector, that really adding more value to us, so that anyhow the subject come to the table for every month, and we could explain to the district collector this is what's happening in our district, and then how many guardianship is issued, how many guardianship are pending. This definitely we could discuss during this meeting. And then the second thing is, if possible, you could organize the orientation program to the district collectors and also the district different labeled welfare officers about the national trust and the national trust activity, and about the importance of guardianship, so that everyone aware about the importance of the guardianship. This is most crucial for the people with the developmental disability, especially for the people who are above 18 years old. So we should give most important to that. And then the third one thing is, if possible, if you may include the LLC NGO of the every district organization in the district rehabilitation committee. I think already we have the district education committee, district rehabilitation committee are functioning. So if LLC NGO, if possible, may include in the committee as the ex officio member, that adding more value. So again, every month we can add the national trust subject, and we will talk about this main four developmental disability in the committee. It's giving more adding value to these children or to the people with the disability living in each district. These are the major things we would like to share with you, sir. So our current status, number of legal guardianship until it's approved in Tamil Nadu is 2031, and the number of legal guardians verified, that means the National Trust also verified the application and they issued the certificate, is 1769, and then pending legal guardian 206. Of course, due to the COVID, it's a little lagging in meeting the people, visiting the home, so there are a lot of pending applications are there. But if we create enough awareness and orientation to the officials and also the parents and also to the residential homes especially, because I see there are a lot of adult homes are run by both government and also the non-profit organization. If we could just focus on this area, we can increase the number. It gives a lot of security and safety to those people with the intellectual and developmental disability living in Tamil Nadu. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Ganesan.
Thank you, sir.
If some of the participants who would like to clarify regarding legal guardianship, please, you may ask. Otherwise, at the end also we can See,
Jayashree ma'am on that.
Jayashree madam, கேக்குறாங்களா?
Unmute yourself ma'am please.
Good afternoon. My name is Jayashree. I am from Chennai, the Spastic Society of Tamil Nadu.
Okay,
I
madam.
will only just be reiterating what Mr. Karthik said, but at this point in time, many of the adult persons with disability coming under the 4 categories, some of the parents may have identified some properties that has to be inherited by this child. In case they die without intestate, without the possibility of misuse of the property that should originally have gone to this adult person with disability can be misappropriated by the family members. So it is the need to make sure that the guardianship is given, the property is registered, properties which is supposed to be kept for the care and this one after the life of the parents. If the guardianship is delayed any further, because during COVID times we don't know how many parents have actually are not around, but they may have earmarked some property for this child, for the caregiving of the child post their life. So if they have not registered the guardianship, the possibility of misutilization by some family member misappropriating the property that should originally have gone for the care and benefit of the person with disability is huge. So the expediting the guardianship is going to be very important, especially if families are living either fixed deposits or movable or other type of resources for the care and aftercare of the person after the family. Guardianship has to be expedited. I just wanted to reiterate it. In the COVID times, it is much more salient for us to expedite it.
Thank you, Jayashree madam. I think we will go to the next point in the agenda.
See, just see, before we go to the next round.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is like here, this thing that Mr. Karthik is talking about monthly review, that district level. That monthly review, I don't know whether we can insist on that, but as per the rules we have, they are supposed to conduct a review meeting of district level rehabilitation committee once in 3 months. So at least we can ask them, that district friendly welfare officer, to make it this local guardianship as one of the agenda in that quarterly review meeting. We can insist on that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So that is there. But we're talking about the submission of the thing. If all the submission is online, if there is somebody who cannot submit online, what will you do?
It works, sir. They can approach any National Trust registered organization. They can help how to apply and they can guide actually. That way it works right now. So the people approaching any National Trust registered organization.
Okay. If that is the case, can you please make some kind of small information brochure, not detail, saying that in case anyone is having a problem, they can approach a registered organization. This is their contact number, or this is their phone number, or this is their this thing. So that if you can make it as some kind of a small poster which can be circulated through social media, then we'll request our rural development and other people also to circulate in their WhatsApp group. Okay, so that will helpful, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely, definitely is possible.
Usually I used to send it to this thing over rural development, then with one messages they can reach more than 14,000 villages in Tamil Nadu. And then we can go to the municipal area also. That is the easiest way, because instantly they receive, everyone will receive. If you try to give so many information, nobody will read. So make it very simple. Give the whatever is needed only. Okay.
Okay, sir.
That's absolutely possible, sir. We will make a small poster in Tamil so that people can also easily read, and then we will share with you. And then,
You can mention our district also, our department also have a helpline. In case of any help, let them call this thing, then our people can refer to our district different welfare officer. You can mention it. Okay.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Then.
Thank you for the good suggestion, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it. Don't worry. We can circulate through this thing. Whatever government WhatsApp group we have, we'll circulate through that thing so that people have it. Then second thing is another thing we want to ask you is that here in Tamil Nadu rules, Tamil Nadu, right of person with disability rules. We have this, where is it, the temporary, that thing is also there, no? Limited guardian is also there. So this limited guardian is different from this, our guardianship under National Trust Act, or function is more or less the same?
No, that
It is
is
different.
little different. Could you explain, Xavier? Xavier?
Yeah,
Mr. Xavier?
let's clarify this thing.
Yeah, Mr. Xavier will, I think, could you explain in this the difference between the limited guardianship and the national trust guardianship?
I'll tell.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Actually, the National Trust disabilities, the 4 disabilities, if they want to have a guardianship, they can apply to the local level committee and get it done. And for others, the limited guardianship is granted through Disability Act 2016. There is a special section under 11 which says for a special purpose or a special term of for a particular period of time, they can get a limited guardianship for a particular purpose for all the other disabilities, for which they have to apply to the DDAW, District Differently Abled Welfare Officer, make an application to him, and he will make an enquiry and forward the application to the collector. The district magistrate is the authorized person to give this limited guardianship certificate.
Yeah, that is being carried out.
Okay, then what else?
Yes.
Okay, shall we move to the next agenda then?
Okay, sir. So next is Niramaya Health Insurance and its implication in comparison with the state health insurance. I think
Yes.
we will request Mr. Xavier Mariadas again to say in detail about this point. Xavier Mariadas, over to you.
Thank you. Actually, in Tamil Nadu we have the special scheme called Chief Minister's Insurance Scheme for a health purpose. And this is for the family, and especially for the families who are below poverty line. For them only this particular scheme is introduced. And this scheme is a kind of a cashless scheme where they could get admitted into the hospital and get treated, and the money will be paid by the insurance company, mostly for surgical purpose. Whereas the Niramaya is a very scheme which is for all the people with disability, the National Trust disabilities. In Tamil Nadu, we have approximately around 2.5 lakh people. It's an estimate. And the benefits are, once they are enrolled in the Niramaya scheme, for people above poverty line, they have to pay 500 rupees as a premium. People below poverty line, they have to pay 250 rupees as a premium. That's an introductory premium. And for renewal, only 50 rupees has to be paid. If they pay this particular premium, they are eligible to get the insurance coverage of 100,000 rupees per year. Out of which, hospitalization expenses is around 70,000 rupees, which includes corrective surgeries, disability-related, congenital disability-related surgeries, then non-surgical hospitalization around 15,000, surgery to prevent further aggravation of disability is around 15,000. So, this is around 70,000 rupees. Under this category they can get it. Outpatient department, through that, for that particular expenses, they can get up to 14,500 rupees. And for any diagnostic tests, they can get around 8,000 rupees. Regular medical checkup, they can get up to 4,000 rupees. Dental preventive dentistry, around 2,500 rupees. Ongoing therapies, they can get therapy from any therapist, for which they can get 10,000 rupees. For alternative medicine, they can get 4,500 rupees. Transportation costs around 1,000 rupees. So basically, the basic difference is here non-hospitalization expenses are being covered. That is number one, and it is on a reimbursement basis with a small premium. They can get all these benefits. And with regard to Chief Minister Fund, it is only for the family and only for mostly for hospitalization. Here, non-hospitalization expenses are also being covered under this scheme. So these are the benefits, basic benefits of this Niramaya scheme. I would like to say a few more things. Actually, considering the total population of Tamil Nadu, 78.8 million people, out of which 3% are disabled, which comes around 2.36 million. The National Trust disabilities are around 5,000, that is 0.7% of the total disability are National Trust disability. It's an estimate. It comes around 5,55,000 people. So, by paying a small premium, so many people could benefit. Last year, less than 4,000 people have benefited from this particular scheme. So the problem is lack of awareness. Second thing is people are not still willing to pay the premium. And if these two things are, once they are made aware, and if the premium is paid, probably the major chunk of people in Tamil Nadu might benefit out of this particular scheme. Then I leave it to the panel if they want to ask anything.
Sir, just want to add the same scheme implement in Kerala also. The Kerala government paying the full premium to all the people with National Trust disability in their state. So when since we are located in a small rural village, I understand the premium is 250. It's a very meager amount. Still, the families are struggling to pay, and mostly we as the NGO we're trying to support. But when you are reaching the more population, like we just covering only one block, it's called Milam, 47 villages. We identified almost 200 children with a developmental disability. It also has an NGO paying the 250 premium. It's a lot actually, we include everything together. But when we visit those family, they're really struggling. But the biggest advantage in Niramaya is even the OPD also get covered. Most of them, they are epileptic. They're getting medicine from the general hospital, but some of the medicine is not available in general hospital also. They're buying from the outside. So, and even they need the regular therapy. If they go to any therapist and they get the bill and they can reimburse from the through this scheme actually. So there are a lot of benefits for this population, sir. Would we consider if the government can take to pay the premium just one time? So for the renewal, we need to pay only 50 rupees. And even for the other than natural guardian, if they are abandoned or orphan, then it's completely free for them. So we are just focusing for the 250 pay to these people. So it really helps them.
The total number of for the current year, sir, year 19 and 20, the total amount of rupees sanctioned through Niramaya Health Insurance for Tamil Nadu is 1 crore 3 lakhs 67,228. This information we got it from the National Trust so that it could be shared with the meeting members of today. Similarly, I think our Xavier also informed total claims settled 2087. So as pointed out by our colleagues, more awareness on this subject is needed still among the rural areas so that many more could avail this program. Many more could avail this program. As our Ganeshan pointed out, except besides Kerala, the state of Kerala, state of Gujarat also is giving this special concession to the National Trust disabled people. These 4 type people like autism, cerebral palsy, multiple disabled, so on. So these 4 type of people are being covered under this scheme.
Okay, any other comment or any other remarks anyone want to give? Yeah, please.
Sir, you are not audible.
Yeah, please switch on your mic.
So the major difference between the Chief Minister's health insurance and the Neremia is the mode of repayment, sir. Whereas in the Chief Minister's insurance, it's a cashless treatment. Whereas here we have.
Mr. Shantakumar, you are not audible fully. Mr. Shantakumar from
The benefit, I think.
Yeah, please carry on.
That is the main.
Yeah.
That is the major thing, sir. If cashless treatment is possible, so much more, it will be much more attractive, and many more people will be benefited right away. So that can be considered, sir.
Can I add, with your permission? Sir, it was a cashless payment when they were introducing in National Trust. Was the part of the team. But what happened, the people, the cashless treatment only in the Empanel hospital, and then very limited Empanel hospital there in the rural villages. So that then the people getting a lot of requests from the people from all over India, and National Trust decided, okay, if there is a very limited number of Empanel hospitals, so what we can do, we can just make it as a reimbursement. You can get the treatment from anywhere, and if you have the original bills and then if validated, then you can, the money is reimbursed to your account. That way it's reframed. Just a history, sir.
Sir, actually the bills have to be submitted, I think, within 15 days. It's a very short period that can be at least extended to 1 month. Because if within 15 days we have to send the bills, original bills, to the National Trust, which may not be possible in some cases, no? So the period can be extended to 1 month at least for applying.
Shantakumar, we can, I think, represent this matter to the National Trust.
Normally, sir, you can note the point, we can give the suggestion to National Trust.
I just have noted down, noted down. Thank you, Shantakumar, for this good suggestion. So normally, now within 15 days time, they have to submit the original bills to the insurance company. Is it not? Now, I think Shantakumar suggests little more time. So instead of 15 days, we can request to give.
That's what I think we should request for government, this National Trust, to extend the time limit up to 1 month or so. Submission.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Then any other comment?
So thank you. Shall we go to the next point?
Yeah, please go.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. Next agenda, as per the agenda, next is Disha, program of Disha, that is Early Intervention and School Readiness Scheme. As per the National Trust, children are being prepared to go to the school, and they are given proper readiness and preparedness as per Disha scheme. And we have one registered organization who is also one of our coordination committee member, Mr. Ramachandran. I would request Mr. Ramachandran, he is taking up this program, he is doing this program in the district of Theni. Would you like to say something about this, Mr. Ramachandran? How many children in your program are there? How much money is being given? And what are the type of therapy or and trainings are you are giving? Please, Ramachandran. Ramachandran, unmute pannungalaa.
Yes, sir.
Very good, thank you.
Welcome everyone.
Yeah.
In our 10 children, there are 18 special children at present studying there. Students is in the categories of intellectual disability, autism and CP children attending this program. In this early intervention center, we are admitting up to 10 years for admission. After 10 years, we are transferring the children to our special schools. In our early intervention program, students getting special education, therapy services, counseling services, and other speech therapy also they are getting. And in this lockdown period also, our therapists and special teachers going to their home, giving counseling and the therapy activities for the children. That's it.
Any questions to be asked to Mr. Ramachandran? But unfortunately, now the National Trust is not sanctioning any new program. It is very unfortunate. They are relating it to the shortage of funds. Yeah. The Ramachandran must have started it maybe about 5 years
3 years.
back. Pardon me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 5 to 6 years back. Now they don't give at all new program. And even in North India, they say those programs which were started 5 to 6 years back are being carried on. That's all. So that way we go.
Okay, so anything we need to give suggestion to Government of India or anything we want to give a remark on this?
Ramachandran, how do you feel? Or other members?
Or we can go to next agenda.
For next agenda we will go. This is Vikas Daycare Center for the National Trust Disabled. Daycare Center is being conducted by 2 organizations in Tamil Nadu. One is Ganesan, Karthikeyan Ganesan, and another one Asha Trust in Tiruvallur district. As Ganesan is here, we will very well ask Mr. Ganesan to explain the procedure and how many children you can admit and how much financial support you give, they give, the National Trust. That also you tell Mr. Ganesan. Please, Ganesan.
Surely, sir. Thank you. So the Vikas is the daycare scheme for the children who are aged from 9 years onwards, because before that the Diksha scheme is covering, and it's a daycare center. At least minimum the student with us in a center for the 4 to 6 hours in the center. Minimum 5 days or 4 to 5 days a week. At least a month, 20 to 22 days. They should be getting the special education from the Vikas Center. They are giving around 3,500 rupees for the each student by providing the special education and transportation and midday meals to them. That's majorly they are covering. The maximum number is covering 30 numbers, and they are also the ratio they are giving. There is we also need to include the high level income group and low level income group. High level income group we need to charge, and then low level income group the National Trust will pay. So they are telling at least 1:1 ratio you should manage, but most of the time it's difficult to identify the high level income group. But if we giving the below poverty line the certificate, then the National Trust giving the 3,500 rupees to each student who are enrolled in the Vikas scheme. And in Tamil Nadu, Susti and the Asha, they are the 2 centers who are run by the NGOs in Tamil Nadu, and currently with us 22 students who are enrolled in the Vikas scheme, and we are getting the funds. It is a kind of the reimbursement. We need to run our center, and then we send the report through online through their website portal with all the reports. Every month they have the report format, and after that they verify, and later on every quarter they are sanctioning the fund. That way is the fund sanctioning is working. And even the best thing, even during the lockdown also, how we given a suggestion donations to the National Trust, even though the students are not visiting our school, but we as a professionals visiting them, and also we got a freedom to spend the money by based on the need of the student. Whether some family they need the groceries, some students they need the education, some students they need the medical support. So the National Trust given a lot of freedom to the organization, identify their need and support those children. And every month we are sending the report what we have done during this lockdown. Based on the report, they are sanctioning the fund to the organizations. That's a very brief about Vikas Center, sir. Thank you.
Again, I am very much not happy about National Trust for not permitting the newcomers, now new organizations, to carry on this program. Say, like Mr. Ramachandran, Ganeshan also belongs to the old category of organizations who had started this program about 5 to 6 years back. But now no new program sanctioned. So as our principal secretary sir assured, maybe we have to send a delegate, this one, petition or
instead of petition, what we can do is that let this committee decide it and request the government of India to accept some new proposal.
Okay, sir. Yeah, that could be done. Yeah.
Shall we do?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
So please do, sir, because currently these schemes are sanctioning to Northeast India, sir. That's it's still the northeast part of India open for avail all the schemes, but rest of the India is closed. And so what the message we got from the National Trust before it's they were getting the fund from the Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment. Currently shortage of funds, they are not opening for any scheme. That's what I heard actually. So as you said, if the committee, the state level coordination committee or the whole Tamil Nadu, we could request, there is a huge need, and then we can request them to open the scheme. So many organizations, many children, many people can also get benefit through this. The schemes are amazing, sir. The schemes so wonderful, and how they designed also well planned. But right now, for the last 6 years, they are not giving not even a single schemes to any organization.
Okay. Okay, any other thing? Okay, shall we move on to next agenda? Samart, Respite Care Residency
Scheme, as well as we joined Garuda also with this, because now it is being clubbed together. So I think Mr. Lawrence, you will have to say about this scheme. Please, Lawrence.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon, sir, to all of you. I am Lawrence from Ecomal Orthopedic Center. It's a special education and rehabilitation center for differently able, and I am also one of the local level committee member for Salem and Erode districts. I am looking after 2 districts for local level committee, and we are also implementing Samath from Karunda Center in Tamil Nadu. The main objective of Samath from Karunda is to provide residential care for above 18 cases. The one more main objective is to provide permanent housing facilities throughout their life. Under this scheme, they are all given a lifetime shelter care, and we have 2 categories, sir. That's below poverty line as well as lower income group. We can admit these 2 categories, and the total number of beneficiaries are 30 numbers. We can admit 30 persons who are above 18. And the main objective is to provide group house as well as vocational activities, sir. And in my experience, what I would say is the main objective of National Trust is it is to help the parents. And most of the parents, they say, what happens to me? What will happen to my child if I am no more? This is the question in the mind of many of the parents. So for all these questions, the National Trust is the answer. The National Trust takes care of all four categories. that is mental retardation, cerebral palsy, autism and multiple disability. So the parents, they are very much worried what will happen if I am no more. For them, this Garunda and Samarth Center is really helping them, sir. So people who are above 18, they are all accommodated in our center and lifetime care is given throughout their lifetime. So it's one of the wonderful scheme designed by National Trust, and it is unfortunately in Tamil Nadu we have only one center implementing Samarth and Garunda. So as our sir said, we can also request National Trust to sanction few more Garunda centers so that people who are the age group of above 18 will be benefited, sir. So in our request letter, we can also mention that National Trust can sanction few more Samarth Garunda center for Tamil Nadu, sir. This is all about Garunda and Samarth center, sir. If any clarification is needed, I am free to explain.
See, you have said that there is only one home in Tamil Nadu. Now they don't allow any new proposal, new project, or they allow any new project, or they don't
So
allow.
actually, the National Trust, when it was started in the year 1999, around 100 crores was deposited in the name of National Trust, and only through the income, the interest what they get, they are implementing all the schemes. So really speaking, they have a financial crisis and they are not able to support many organizations. That too, in each district, only one NGOs are given permission to carry out the program of National Trust. So whenever we explain or whenever we approach them, they say that they are managing these schemes only from the 100 crores of money which was deposited in the year 1999. So they also have some limitations, sir, but we can send our proposal so that they can request the Parliament or Government of India to sanction some more money as fixed deposits so that they can sanction few more centers, sir.
Okay, okay. Then any other thing, any other remark or anything?
Sir?
Yeah,
Good
madam.
evening, sir. I am Jyoti from Vidya Vikasini Opportunity School, Coimbatore. We are also running Samarth scheme, sir, and also we are the LNC member of Coimbatore district. The Samarth scheme, we are getting the children for 1 or 2 days also. It's a respite care center. If the parents have to leave for marriage or some other function, they can send their children with us, and we will take care of them carefully and securely. That is the main objective of the Samarth. The parents can send the children 1 or 2 days or week when they are living out of station. That is also we are doing, sir. Thank you, sir.
Jyoti,
So any issue you want to highlight regarding running this Samarth or Garunda? Any issue you want to flag to be put it up before Government of India or National Trust? Any issue you want to flag in this scheme?
So there is no special issue, sir. As of now, the scheme is designed very well and it is going on very smoothly, sir.
Okay, thank you. Then shall we go to the next Sahyogi?
Yeah, so
Care associate page. Yeah.
this is a program of giving orientation to adult young girls or boys to take care of the differently abled in the rural areas. Sahyogi was conducted in Tamil Nadu by Ganesan. I think you have conducted Ganesan. RV Trust has conducted, and RUCODE India from Kanyakumari also has conducted it. So RUCODE India from I belong to RUCODE India, so I would like to explain that we had conducted 2 different groups like primary Sahyogi and advanced level Sahyogi. So primary level is those who have completed 8th standard, up to 8th standard their studies, they will be admitted for 3 months course. 3 months course. It goes for 3 months. In that, 1.5 months is theoretical, and 1.5 months they undergo practical training in clinics, in special schools, in other rehabilitation centers. So similarly, the advanced level caregiver training scheme is for 6 months. So in this, those who have completed +2 and above, higher secondary school level, they will be admitted, and they were given, initially they were given 10,000 rupees as stipend for these 6 months. In the 6 months, 3 months they have to learn theory and 3 months practical. So during the practical period, they will be given orientation in the hospital setup, rehabilitation centers and special schools and so on. So after the completion of the training, they were getting help and job in the special schools and in rehabilitation homes. And the main aim of the National Trust is they should be prepared to take care of the disabled in general. So this was the original frame of rules and aim. But now, recently we had discussed it with our Commissioner, Mr. Johnny Tom Varghese, through our DD Singh sir, and the Tamil Nadu government is planning to introduce a short-term caregiver training program. So if Mr. DD sir is here, I think we would request him to say few words on this scheme, so that all the members will understand. Our respected Commissioner sir is here. Sir, could you say a few words, sir? Yeah.
Recently, last year, our state government, they have made an announcement for providing caregivers training. So we are also seeking assistance of NGOs who have come forward to undertake this program. And luckily I came to know that our RUCODE India has a very good experience. But I was told that the Government of India, they are not able to get the Government of India support. I think in that context, our state government's intervention support will also be helpful. And also, you can also share more experience, what are all the difficulties in running the caregiver training program and challenges, so that we can also inculcate. And another thing is that those who have, those who need a high support, they require that formal kind of thing, because the training program is only to help the severely disabled in the physical sense. And your training program is leading to certification. Of course, that is also useful for their professional development. But those who are in need, particularly in rural areas, those people who are very poor people, but they are to support their whatever their beneficiaries or what, so they require some kind of training. It must be a practical one. So that kind of flexibility in curriculum, that can also be that can be suggested. So you can give your input, sir. So this is my small idea, sir.
So regarding this Sahayogi, the training is provided by, you tell us who provides caring training. This is by RUCODE, because we were thinking about NIPMET.
No, we were giving in those days, now how many? 2017, in the year 2017 we had conducted this program. And the those who were giving the resource persons were mostly special educators and qualified medical people, doctors and nurses and other technicians. They were giving the training.
Do you have a list of people who have been trained under your
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We do have the list. Yes.
Is this currently on this?
Now this program is not being conducted, and they have stopped it. The National Trust has stopped it.
Is there anything similar in Kerala?
No, Kerala, they are no, sir. But they were conducting, when RUCODE was conducting, at that time I remember in Kerala they were conducting, but now it is started throughout India.
So based on the proposal submitted to National Trust, they are even now sanctioning the caregivers training program, sir. We need to have 15 to 20 takers who wants to undergo this training. Once when we arrange the name list, once when we apply to National Trust, even now it's a current program, sir, and they are ready to sanction this program.
And Lawrence, for your information, they don't now recommend it. We had discussed it in one of our Zoom meetings, ROS meetings, yeah. So at that time, our respected Deputy Director Rabindranath Singh sir participated in that when Mr. Shukla also was there. So then sir was, our D.D. Singh sir was explaining about the proposed scheme of the Tamil Nadu government. So he was collecting the information from those who had done the National Trust caregivers training and all these things. So maybe we will verify once again, as our commissioner has requested. I shall once again verify it, but as far as my knowledge goes and my acquaintance.
And moreover, there was a technical problem, sir, and the certificate which was issued by National Trust, and they are unable to register with RCI.
What is RCI?
Because the prescribed qualification was not there with the caregivers training program. And there was some technical problem was going on between RCA and National Trust.
Does it problems exist because you said that the course module is designed by the RCI?
RCI, that's what I am wondering.
Module?
Ramachandran, you have done this course, conducted this course.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
You had conducted under National Trust. So, as our commissioner, respected commissioner says, this syllabus is designed by RCI.
Yes,
and
sir.
Our members have registered, those who have undergone the training from RUCODE, I remember they have registered this in the employment office.
No, sir, but the course is not recognized by the RCI, sir. We have to get separate registration from RCI also. Then only they have to register with RCI. But that only now just start with the program.
But Commissioner sir is pointing out that when it is published in the National Trust website, saying that it has been designed according to the standard of the RCI, this one, New Delhi.
Ms. Nominee.
Yes, sir.
Actually, initially, that is in early 2003, 2004, till then, the course was not approved by RCA. Actually, we were also conducting caregivers program. We trained 30 people. But the certificate was given by National Trust, and which was not recognized by RCI. But all these people whom we are trained are now working under SSA, Service Shiksha Abhiyan scheme in Tamil Nadu. So only after that there was an understanding between National Trust and RCI, and the present program is approved by RCI.
Currently, it's currently approved by RCI. Is it?
Xavier, are you sure that it has been approved by the RCI now?
Yeah. There is an understanding between National Trust and RCA, and they have redeveloped the curriculum which was formed by National Trust is approved by RCA.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, second thing is that when we spoke to NIPMED, we thought we'll partner with NIPMED for this course. They said that they have a course. So probably it is the one that is approved by RCI lately.
Maybe sir, all this clarification we shall get it.
Yeah, probably information from NIPMED as well as from National Trust.
Yeah, NIPMED and furnish to you, sir, to the commissioner.
That's also okay. Then any other thing? Okay. Okay, shall we move on to the next agenda? Gyan Prabha.
So all the other things, sir, no one is doing in Tamil Nadu. So
why?
Yeah, it is not sanctioned by the National Trust. So in Tamil Nadu, not also in India. In any organization in India, the other programs are not implemented. 3, 4.
Okay, Prerna, Sambhav and Bhakti Kadam, all these programs are not sanctioned so far.
Not sanctioned. It is only, yes, it is no more in the National Trust.
Yeah, please, yes. Sir, Ramani sir, can I add?
Okay.
Yes, sir, Karthik here. So the Badde Kadam, actually in the beginning years, they given chances to all the registered organization. It's just creating a awareness program. Either we can create a poster or we can conduct a awareness program in the colleges or institutions or general public. So that's how the Badde Kadam. But unfortunately, when they stopped all the schemes, we cannot also apply for this scheme. But Jnana Prabha is educational support, because some of the states, they are giving the education scholarship. It's kind of the duplication. So the National Trust, they were discussing whether we can stop or we can continue. That was the discussion happened in the beginning years. So the Perina is the marketing assistants. Before, they were Aruniam. It's a separate unit of National Trust they developed. The Aruniam main purpose is established to support the organization or the developmental disability who are creating craft material or any product. It's a kind of helping to market their product, and that's the once the Aruniam stopped, that's the Prerna is started. But once they stop to support all the schemes, and nobody running any schemes currently in Tamil Nadu or any part of India, sir.
Okay. Then any other thing, any other issue we want to discuss?
No.
Or any remark you want to make? Because what happened is that I think this state level committee also, we don't call it for a very, very long time. It's from the look of that file record. So that's why I said that at least we'll meet each other. But unfortunately, because of this COVID thing, we cannot call a meeting on face to face. So that's why at least we'll have this meeting with them, so that we can share what we can do and what suggestion we can give. Okay. So any other remark you want to give?
Sir, I just want to actually through this meeting, we would request the state government to take up the issue of paying the premium for Niramaya. Because already Kerala is paying, Gujarat is paying. So if the small premium is paid from the government of India, and many people would benefit out of it, the National Trust Disabilities persons. So that is a request we would like to make to you to appeal to the government.
Okay, let's see how far with this thing. But the thing is that basically government side, we are going to compare it with the comprehensive chief minister health insurance scheme. That is, for the differently able, they say that there is no need for any income ceiling. Other people, there is an income ceiling of 72,000 rupees. But for differently able people, there is no income ceiling limit, and that reimbursement is up to 5 lakhs, I think. On top of that, for these rehabilitation centers, physiotherapy and other things, they say that they can claim up to 60,000 rupees. That is also costless for that center. So it is quite substantial. I don't know how many people will be willing to go for this Nirmaya health insurance scheme, because government is, or particularly in Tamil Nadu, government is keep on giving some additional benefit to the friendly able. Recently we had a meeting, and then at that time they said that even those things which is going beyond 5 lakhs, I think they can give it from that Corpus fund also now. Government is going to give us that even if those 14 men of differently able per year, now a ceiling limit is 5 lakhs. They say that 14 men of differently able, if it is going to cost 5 lakhs, then government is going to give us a permission to spend the Corpus fund from the district Corpus fund of Tamil Nadu health insurance scheme also. So I don't know how far we can go. Anyway, let's see. Okay, any other thing? Any other remark?
Sir, one more thing, sir.
Okay.
Sir, every LLC is incurring expenditure towards meeting expenditure. Say, for example, conducting a meeting, organizing programs and all, for which a minimum amount should be allotted for every LLC, sir. Because we don't have any funds. So out of that fund, we can meet the basic running expenditure, administrative cost.
Oh, excuse me, what meeting you're talking?
Local level committee.
Local level committee, okay.
Local
Yes,
level
we don't have any funds.
We just recommend. Okay. Okay.
Administrative cost, stationery and all. Yes, sir.
And, I will answer you. See, for sanctioning the legal guardianship from the National Trust, each LLC gets 400 rupees. 200 rupees.
200 rupees.
For
Yes,
one
sir.
legal guardianship. Similarly, for Niramaya, supposing through the organization it goes, they get 40 rupees. So this money usually is being deposited in the LLC account, in which the district collector and the local LLC NGO, they are the signatories, and that money could be used. Yeah, that money could be used for this purpose. Ganesan, how do you say about this?
Definitely, sir.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of practical difficulties to access that money. Of course, we need the get signature from the district collector, and a lot of protocols we have to follow. We understand, and then if state government like Kerala, what they have done, they giving the money for conducting meeting and giving support to the snack. Similarly, if the state government can support for the conducting LLC meeting, organizing the awareness camp, or giving orientation to the district collector about the National Trust and especially importance of the guardianship, that really adding more value to these people, sir. So my humble request on behalf of the whole SLCC member and the families of people with a disability, kindly include in the agenda of the district collector about the National Trust and about the National Trust disability. Otherwise, it's very difficult as a NGO organization to meet collector and explain about what's happening in the ground level, how difficult to get one guardianship certificate without his approval. It's all very challenging process until the district collector aware about National Trust, aware about the guardianship, aware about the local level committee. So every time when we try to aware about these schemes to the district collector, and once he transfer to the other district and again back, and getting appointment itself, it's not an easy job for easy for us actually. So if you include in their quarterly or monthly review about the National Trust, about the local level committee, about the guardianship, it's definitely giving help, sir, for us. We are ready to work, but if you are not getting any support, it's very hard for us to do the job, sir.
Okay. So the thing is that the district level committee, who is a member secretary for passing an order for that guardianship?
So I would like to add one point, sir. Hello?
Yeah.
I am Lawrence here. Sir, I would like to add few points for Mr. Ganesan. Actually, as per the law, the local level committee consists of the district collector and the registered NGO representative and the differently abled person, sir. Only these three constitute the local level committee. But the district disabled welfare officer is not officially included, sir. That's the problem. So he is not, since officially involved, we treat him as only as an ex officio member, or we treat him as a coordinating member for LLC. So the real involvement is not there, sir. As per law, only these three are there. I am not in the picture. That's the mentality of many of the district differently abled welfare officers. So we can try to include them officially in the local level committee constitution, sir. That's one of my humble requests, sir.
Okay, then shall we recommend it to that National Trust to include the district differently able welfare officer as one of the members in the local level committee?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because he is the person who is coordinating between the NGO and the collector, sir.
No.
Since he is not officially involved, he is not taking care of the activities.
Then another thing is that How did you call that meeting? Who is a member secretary of that meeting? Unless there is some official in that meeting, district collector would not have the time to look at all these things. Somebody should be there as a member secretary to put up the file before the district collector for calling a meeting, to make that thing meeting minute, to collect the meeting minute and distribute that meeting notice also. Who is doing this right now at this point?
Right now,
Actually, telling the truth, sir, the district level meeting is not taking place at all, sir. In many of the districts, it's not happening at all. Though these three are members as per law, we have other ex officio members also, sir. Doctors and advocates and many persons are all there as ex officio members. But the regular and periodical meeting is not at all taking place, sir. That's the problem.
See, basically the problem is that there should be some regular member secretary who will coordinate all these things. If there is no member secretary, how will they do? Who is a member secretary then?
So as per law, the NGO representative is the responsible person for organizing the meeting, sir. But since we have to go through the district welfare officer and he is not there as a official member, there is always the misunderstanding is there, sir, and the priority is not given for conducting local level committee regularly, sir.
Okay. Okay, then that means that we need to recommend to National Trust and to include the district friendly welfare officer as one of the members then.
Yes, sir.
Because here the thing is that in a government, somebody should be there to coordinate all the activities, one thing. Second thing is that somebody should be there to type whatever you discuss, to prepare the meeting minute, to type and issue the meeting notice also, to do the follow-up with and coordinate with other department officers. So we need somebody, okay, I get it. That's why how many balance pending we have regarding that application of guardianship right now? We have around 236 also, right?
Yes, 206.
206. Certificate issue is 1007.
1769, sir.
Okay. See, comparing with this Tamil Nadu, that issuing a certificate so far is 1739. That is a very, very less. As you have said, we have a population of around 7.88 crore, 78.8 crore or something, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So out of that, how many, if we calculate by 3% of the friendly able, then if we issue certificate only to around 1739, so that is very less. So we must do something. Okay, anything you want to inform, and you want to remark or anything, or
promotion of more members in the Niramaya health insurance, to use the Niramaya health insurance is our responsibility. As ROs, our registered organization, I think we should encourage that. We should promote more disabled, National Trust for Disabled people to become members of the Niramaya health insurance so that they can, avail the scheme more.
okay. Okay, that's all. Shall we wait up now?
Okay, sir.
Okay, we'll issue that thing, we'll issue that meeting notice, not meeting minute after, maybe after some days, okay?
Yeah.
So, any other thing you want to discuss, then you can send it to me by WhatsApp or whatever is available to you. Because a number of time, in government we attend a number of meetings here and there, so I may not be able to pick up phone. If you try to call me through telephone, number of time I may not be able to pick up. But I check that WhatsApp regularly, so please contact me by WhatsApp, or in the evening you can call me also after office hour also. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So please don't hesitate. Any suggestion or other thing you want to give, please give me. Don't hesitate to give me that thing. Okay? Thank you very much to you all. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you then.
So thank you, sir. Thank you very much on behalf of this State
Okay, thank you.
Coordination Committee. Yeah, to all the officers, all the Commissioner, sir, and our Social Welfare Director, Madam. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah.